Alright, hey everybody. Sorry it's the next day. Last night I got really tired and fatigued from doing what I was doing on here. I need to grab my controller. So, and my throat was getting a little worked up from talking a lot, because it was an awful long couple videos. I still had to make thumbnails for those videos, and I will be sure to do that when this is finished. But I want to go ahead and finish this tonight. Hopefully, if you hear meow, my cat Riley's in here, and he's like my office buddy. He loves to be in here in the man cave with me. So, anyways, I'm going to show you the rest of the games that are on this cartridge. And if you look in part 1 in the description, I have a Patreon link if you care to support me or not. That's entirely up to you. And a link to where you can buy this cartridge. And it's in red instead of the gray one that I have. No cat, I'm busy. If he gets too obnoxious, I'm gonna have to move him outside. Right, so I believe I left off on Spy Hunter. Yes. Gun deck. Now, some of you are gonna know what this is. I did a playthrough on this too. This is the Japanese version of that same game, and I'll tell you what it is, of course. And of course, if you want to read the cutscenes, you're kind of fucked unless you know Japanese. You should know exactly what this is. I did a playthrough of this too. Or a let's play. Call them what you will. If you don't know what it is, it's Vice Project Doom. This is the Japanese version. Now, I have a translated ROM of this, of the Japanese version, and like I said in my playthrough of this, that if you want a copy of it, just throw me a PM or a message in any way, and let me know your email, or put it in the comments if you want to, and I'll send you a copy. Because the Japanese version seems to have a better storyline and it's more fine-tuned. You also may notice that the sound is different. I got the microphone to work so the buzz is not as huge as it was, say, last night. And this thing is weird. Sometimes it'll do that, and other times it won't. Like, sometimes I'll give it a little flick, and it'll stop doing it. Other times it just will be continuous, and it pissed me off because I like this microphone. Because I think it handles voice rather well, better than the headset. The headset sounds like I'm talking like a Super Nintendo. And if you don't know what I said there, I said talking like a Super Nintendo. Anyways. But that's a fantastic game. I kind of suggest playing the American version if you want to translate it, or play the Japanese version that's been translated into English. Either or is fine. I mean, I don't care for plots in games anymore. I just care for gameplay, because plots are just too overdone in today's world. And I'm also not a graphics whore like GameSack just proved to be. I used to love GameSack, and then now it's like, oh, we need this game redone in HD with HD textures and looking all pretty. Why can't you just appreciate the game, the way the game was made? To me, remasters and remakes should be made for games that sucked when they came out. And they're talking like games like Jumping Flash and fucking Shenmue. Those games are just fine the way they are. They don't need to be changed. Unless you're a graphics whore, and they proved that, so that kind of killed some respect, because I don't have respect for graphics whores. I don't. I like my games to look nice, but if they look nice for the platform, then there's no reason to update them. Like, in my opinion, DuckTales Remastered fucking sucked ass. It looks great, but it played horribly. I'll stick to the NES original. Thank you, which I wish this card had. Right on. Anyways. Oh, Christ. Okay, this is a good game if you play on mute, and I'll show you why. This was also made by Micronix. Surprisingly, they made one good game, but listen to the soundtrack. Oh, goddamn. Worst soundtrack ever. Micronix used to do stuff for Capcom, but then eventually Capcom was not happy with the quality, especially, I think Ghosts and Goblins was the game where they said, okay, fuck these guys, we need to make our games in-house. Because Ghosts and Goblins is awesome. And also notice, paw, like a cat's paw? Or a doggy paw? Cool. That's the flicker of the NES, I think. Okay, fuck that. It's not going to appear as pulse. Anyways, as the story goes. Notice, if you play Ghosts and Goblins and you throw the lance, you'll notice the lance looks like a drug needle. You know why? Because it's backwards. It's supposed to be flipped around the other way. They didn't do that, though. I don't get it. Anyways, this game's a shooter. I believe it's 32 levels long. It's extremely long. It's actually a fun shooter, but just put it on mute if you want to have a good time. Otherwise, you'll be driven to a migraine. And the arcade version is no different. They just use different samples. However, the next game on here is, in my opinion, one of the best shooters ever made on the system. This was made by Capcom in-house. You can already tell the quality's better. And this game has a little leveling up system. And if you find more points in your adventure, you can add more to your array of offensive and defensive and all sorts of goodies. Not only that, you get a nice little soundtrack. And notice how smoother it is and nicer. See, Capcom should have just said, fuck you, Micronics, we can do this shit ourselves, we don't need your ass in the first place. Then maybe we could have had a better version of Ghosts and Goblins, even though that game's awfully, awfully unforgiving. But it's a classic in its own merit. I mean, I hate the game because of the difficulty on it. But I can't say I hate it because it's a shitty game. I just hate the difficulty. It's hard. And it took me 12 hours just to beat the game the first time around. Was I going to play another 12 hours? Nah, I'd rather fuck off. But yeah, it's 1943 is an awesome shooter. The whole series is great. Like I said, the only one that's bad is 42, but just mute the sound and you'll be just fine. Definitely worth your time. Okay, now we're on Cubicle Tiger. Now, this is, of course, once again, a Japanese game. The Japanese game is known as Twin Cobra. This is another Micronic shooter because Sammy are too fucking lazy to do the shit themselves. Now, I guess it was made by CBS Sony Group in Japan market, but in America it was ported by Sammy. And it was called Twin Cobra. Now, if you have any memories with this version of the game, you know, no hate, but you're playing the wrong version. You need to play the Sega Genesis or Mega Drive port, because you have a really kick-ass soundtrack and awesome graphics, you know, for the Genesis, and it's almost arcade perfect. This is just a fucking mess. I mean, Micronics, I don't know who in their right mind thinks it's a good idea to hire them. Perhaps they just do the shit for cheap, but you don't do this to a beloved arcade game. I mean, I know some people out there who enjoy Twin Cobra, like myself included, and they also have a sequel, but I don't believe, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't believe that it was ported to another system. The second game. The first game was ported to the Mega Drive and the NES, and I believe the X68000. It was ported to a few systems. I don't have the information on hand, but I believe Wikipedia or HardcoreGaming.net, HardcoreGaming101.net has that information for you to look up if you choose. But that's a pretty awful port of that game. I don't recommend it. I really don't. But if you have memories with it, great. I'm not going to hate you for it. I mean, hell, what do I like to play? Well, I like to play Rise of the Robots. And that's a shitty game. But I play it anyways because it's a guilty pleasure. Yeah, this is a Japanese version of Werewolf: The Last Warrior. This is Warwolf. I think it's Werewolf Legend or Chronicles Werewolf. I don't fucking remember. All I know is and it's of course Japanese text. All I know is it's some kind of, it's a side-scroll beat 'em up hybrid. You play as Oh Boy, the Indian guy, and he becomes a wolf, a werewolf, as we see right here. See, why does the Japanese always have to put in fucking... I don't know. I mean, I have respect, nothing but respect for Japanese, but their language just pisses me off because it's confusing. Like, in some games, they have, like, English words with the Japanese text, and I never understood that. It's like, okay, aren't you kanji, or aren't you katakana, origami speaking people? Why don't you just have that and not any English words? But it comes to my understanding that I guess Japanese is trying to incorporate, or it has incorporated, as English as their second language, much like Spanish is ours. I don't know, I could be wrong on that. I mean, I was told by my teacher that the United States was making, has made or was making Spanish a, course in America to where it's necessary to learn the language. I don't really care. I just use English because that's what I was raised on. The only Spanish words I like to use is besame pito or besame culo. That's either kiss my ass is besame culo, and besame pito is kiss my dick. Besame pito, por favor. Puta! And that's all I really use, because I don't use Spanish, and the only language I'm interested in learning, if I could ever learn Japanese, is German. Because my mom's 100% German, and I learned some words there, but, Essen Menscheiße is common for people who played South Park. It's a side-scroll, as you can see, this game's a side-scroll hack and slash beat-em-up kind of hybrid. The game gets ridiculously hard in the third stage because there's these enemies on the third stage in particular that will just end your ass unless you learn how to cheat the system. I'm serious about that because I watched a couple playthroughs of this game because I was trying to figure it out, and I'm like, are you serious? So I mean, play at your own risk, but if you like a good challenge and you like to get cheap to death or you don't mind it, play Werewolf or Werewolf. Either or is fine. Okay, next game. So I learned that Guten Morgen is good morning, Guten Tag is good day or good afternoon, and Guten Abend is good evening. Of course, I also learned some bad words too. Like, there's Fotzi, which is cunt. 50 Schouts, or Schwanz is, Schwanz is dick, so I don't know why 50 Schwouts is, shut the fuck up, but, that's what I found out as. Anyways, this ain't a German lesson. I'm not a German teacher, so, looked at information elsewhere. Mighty Final Fight is a super deformed semi-port of the arcade game of Final Fight. It has different levels and different layouts and shit. And you get to play as all three characters, and it's only one player. Just like the SNES version of Final Fight. It's not a bad game at all. It's actually quite fun. But, if I were to give it some kind of criticism, the enemies take way too long to kill. Look at this. It should take 2 combos, and then they should flicker and go away, and then fight more. Game's actually pretty easy too. So you get more levels and shit too, where it gives you extra abilities and such, like extra moves and certain things. It's not all that elaborate. It's very subtle changes. This was a pretty cool alternative if you didn't have an SNES back when that was released. But we all know the Super NES version of Final Fight wasn't all that great either. Because Capcom stick to being lazy and use the 4 megabit cartridge instead of the 8 megabit cartridge. Because if they did that, you could have had the 2-player and the sprites that were available, and maybe even the extra level. But this is a fantastic 1-player experience. If you like beat 'em ups, I suggest giving it a try. It's a lot of fun. It's worth your time. And they also have a port of it on the Game Boy Advance called Capcom Classics Collections Mini Mix, and that's on there. So You know, you have different ways of playing it. But that's the American version on here, so another reason to get it. Alright, now this is a weird beast here. Now, I'll play it. Now, some of you may know what this game already is, but for now, I'll explain it to you. For Japanese text, we need to bypass that because we just don't know how to speak Japanese. Some of us don't. I think it's stupid. Hold on, my Microsoft controller is being retarded. Right. Okay, you may have played another game like this in the arcade. You may have played it on the Classic Collection under the Namco name. And if you don't know what this game is by now, this is basically Rolling Thunder. Just reskinned. Reskinned and has different, you know, aspects. Now the question is why did Capcom decide to make their own Rolling Thunder? Was the game really that popular that they wanted to capitalize on it? The only thing that I came up with when it comes to that aspect is, see, Rolling Thunder was on a black Tengen cartridge. And I think maybe, just maybe, now this is just totally, I'm just pulling this out of my head. This could be wrong. But I'm going to go ahead and explain it my way anyway. Okay, what I think what happened here with this game in particular is Rolling Thunder was popular. I mean, it actually was pretty popular, but I just don't know how much in terms of popularity this game was. But if I really had to put it out there, I think Capcom maybe was siding with Nintendo that Tengen had the wrong idea of porting games to the NES and them not having to pay the license charge. So what they wanted to do was de-tier players from buying that game and buying their version of Rolling Thunder. I know that sounds a little crazy and stupid, but that's my hypothesis. I could be dead wrong. But if you know the story behind it, please let me know. I'm intrigued. But yeah, this game was called Dead Fox, which is this is what this version is here in the Japanese market, but the American version is known as codename Viper. I know this because I actually own the cartridge, even though the label is fucked, and I plan on replacing it in the near future with some lamination paper and printing it out and making it look all nice and pretty and new. But I own the game, and it's pretty fun. It's ridiculously hard, though. I mean, it's unforgiving, just like Rolling Thunder. I mean, you're only allowed 2 hits, and then you die. So if you like a challenge, I suggest giving it a play. It's pretty good, but I would suggest finding the American card, or, you know, ROM-wise, or if you don't mind the Japanese, if plot isn't important to you, then just play this version. Moving on. Juju Densetsu, another Japanese fucking game. Anyways, Juju Densetsu. Why do I say Densetsu? It's Densetsu. Right. Okay. This game was also released in America. And of course, Japanese text for the plot. Once again, you don't care for the plot, this is a good game to play. And the Genesis had a kind of like a semi-sequel to this, also called and if you don't know what that is, or what this is Toki. You basically play a guy who's been turned into a monkey and his panoche was stolen. And the Genesis version had one called Toki Gone Ape Split, instead of Gone Ape Shit. Anyways. Don't judge me, life is too short. Anyways. This is based off an arcade game, too, of the same name. Of course, that's the version you may want to play. Because the arcade one is pretty rad. I liked it. The Genesis one was too slow-paced for me. And this version is okay for a home port. I'm not gonna knock it. To me, it's perfectly paced. It's not too slow like the Genesis version is. I mean, if you want to take a nap after you play a game, play the Genesis version. Fucker, one hit kills. So that's Juju Densetsu Toki. Pretty good game. I'd suggest giving it a whirl. You may like it, you may not like it. I don't know your taste. Alright, believe it or not, this is the Chinese again taking games from the Super Nintendo and porting them onto the NES. But here's something that you wouldn't think. This port is actually really competent. It plays well. I actually got pretty far in it before I had to go do stuff. I think I had to go grocery shopping that day with the wife, so yeah. I just remember I had to go somewhere, and so I couldn't play for long. But this is very competent. It plays really well too. The controls aren't stiff or floaty. It plays just fine. The only thing that you can probably already notice is a problem is the music is awful. It uses that high-pitched, grainy, awful... Like, Hummer team uses this shit. That's one of the bootleg companies out there. Call it stealing, call it what you will, but this is actually very competent and it plays quite well. And I suggest it if you like the SNES port of the game. But I have to side with Sega on this one. The Sega port of Aladdin was a trillion times better with the sword slashing and the music. The SNES version's no slouch though. This is not a bad port. I really want to play through this more. It even has the wheel spinning thing, but it doesn't have the Mode 7. You know, they had to compensate for the technology. Yay, 2 up. Yeah, so this is a pretty damn good port. And now, from my understanding, there is a NES version of the Genesis version, and it's absolutely awful. I didn't play it, I can't find it. And you have your little floaty thing too. I forgot how you use it though. Select. Yeah, select button, guys. But they, like I said, they had to compensate for having only 2 buttons. I mean, I prefer up and the jump. Anyways, if you like Aladdin for the SNES, it's a pretty awesome port. I'm gonna try to play through that eventually because I really want to see it to the end because it's pretty fun. I'm just surprised for a bootleg how well it plays. It's ridiculous, but in a way it's ridiculous, but at the same time, you know. Okay, what's next? Banana Prince. This is a pretty interesting platformer. And it's in fucking German. And even Ort in Kuklitsch Banana. Joanies heter yet nicht haha. I don't have a good German accent. This is probably one of the only Takara games that are worth a shit. But yeah, this is the German version. And a little knife and you attack little, you know, enemies and cut them up and you collect stuff. This music kind of reminds me of Kirby's Adventure. It has that high-pitched sound that's hard to explain. And don't ask me what that old man was doing in there, because I have no idea. Maybe he just wanted attention. Don't jump on enemies because you get hit and die and stuff. And, well, we all know that's a pain in the ass. Yeah, you can plant your own trees, and then use them to jump across. And... Ja. Ich habe die Stufe geschafft. Nein! Du isst Scheiße. Du sprechen Scheiße. You isst Scheiße. Okay, well, let's go ahead and pick something else. Pretty awesome game. I would suggest just getting the ROM and translating it into English and playing it that way. But like I said, you don't care about plots or text, You just want to play a game? There you go. Okay, Snow Bros. This is a port of an arcade game. Capcom made the home port. It's actually one of the rarest NES games to find. If you can find a card of it, it's like $200 plus. And it's the American version, so look at that. You get a deal. This game is very simple. You just hit enemies with snow, make them into snowballs, and then just push them. And of course, you can make combos, and let me see if I can make. Fuck it. It works all the same, right? There we go. And then you get boner points. And then you move on to the next stage until you get to stage 50 or something, where the end game is. It's fun though. It's especially if you have a friend, you can, play together. It's just like, it has the same addictive flavor that Bubble Bobble has. So if you like that game, you'll like Snow Bros easily. Okay, moving on. Oh shit. Let's go backwards. Sorry. Okay. Ultraman Club. I actually beat this the other day on my cartridge. And it was really fun. What sucks though is I didn't know the fucking plot. But I don't know, it's really fun and simple. It's just one of those games you can just pick up and just have a little bit of fun with. I don't like the attack though. The attack is pretty retarded, but you get used to it. So if you're an Ultraman fan, you should give this a try. I'm not a big Ultraman fan, but I had some fun with this game, and I actually completed it, and it was fun. The attack system could have used support, but But yeah, as you can see, it's just your simple side scroll, beat 'em up, hack and slash, whatever. Go to point A to point B. Rudimentary but fun stuff. And I hope someone translates that soon so I can see the plot, because I'm kind of interested in it for some reason. Don't ask me why, because I don't even know. Now here's an interesting feat that some may not know. Back in the late 80s, Sega games were on the NES, and this was in Japan. This is Joaki, also known as Altered Beast. Or Joaki, I'm not good with pronunciation of Japanese language, as I stated a trillion times before. Now, this is a very awful port in terms of sprite work, but it's very competent. I personally, I'm probably going to catch hell for this, is better than the Sega Master System port. I mean, obviously, the Genesis port is king in the Americas, while the computers, 16-bit computers in the market were better than Japanese ones anyways. But yeah, you have your kick, you have your punch. Now notice in this version, he does the Hadouken pose, which is missing from the Genesis port. The double jump, you gotta double tap on up. Now let's see if we can beat the first boss. And it also, as you can hear, has Theme of the Beast, which is one of my favorite themes and video games. I have like 3 or 4 different remixes of this song on my computer, and I listen to them very often, because it's good stuff. Now, honestly, what is this supposed to be? To me, it looks like a pile of shit with skulls in it. I'm not kidding. Look at it. And the other versions don't fare better. They look about the same. But, see, the difference between this version and the other versions out there is this actually has some new beasts you can Like the next stage, you get to be a lion, and then later on, you get to be a merman. So you know there is a reason to play this port, and you don't really need the text because it's all like screen fucking cutscene based shit. Yeah, you have new stages and new music. So it doesn't look all that great, but it plays okay. It's competent. It's not like a super game or anything like that. Maybe I can play to show you guys the lion, and then we'll call it a good with this game. Enemies can fuck off. It would have been kind of funny if they did like, you know, do the voice. I'm getting my ass kicked here. I mean, I'm not playing like trying. I just want you guys to see the lion, so you can see something that wasn't in the original game. I mean, granted, it's NES sprite work, but okay, here we go. He plays like the tiger, as you can probably tell. I mean, he throws a fireball, but as it comes back, it's kind of like a boomerang, a fire ring or something. You also fight different bosses. This boss is different. Ah, fuck it. Let's just... See? That's a brand new boss. So, this, in my opinion, is a cool version to play. Just because of the new beast you can be, and, you know, to see what kind of new content is in this version. I mean, it's awesome. You can look past the, you know, 8-bit graphics, which I can, because I'm not a graphics whore. It's actually a pretty cool game. And this game's also translated on ROM.net, so if you want to play the game in English, there you go. But yeah, I suggest giving that a play. It's a really competent port of Altered Beast. I mean, it's on the NES, you know, but at least it ain't no, like, fucking... The Sega Master System port, the problem I had with that is the simple fact that the scrolling was jerky as all hell. Like, the frame rate was absolutely horrible. I mean, I get it, graphics don't make a game, but if you make a game choppy like that, then it's not playable. Just my opinion. Now, High Tech Expressions was a shitty game company. They made nothing good, and this game's no exception. I do not like this game. Well, yeah, this is Tom and Jerry, which is a classic cartoon. Kind of has the same premise as, you know, the Roadrunner and Coyote and Garfield and Odie, you know, shit like that, where there's something against something else and they're against each other. Yeah, I was not a fan of this game at all. I remember renting it because there was nothing at the video store that was interesting. So, did Tim Follin do the soundtrack? Because it's very Tim Follin-y. Is that even a word? Ah, fuck it. Anyways, it's a side-scroll game. You play as Jerry, and you know, I mean, it looks okay. It just plays. I don't know. I just don't like it. It's hard to put in words why I don't like it. I just don't. You know, but it was a long time ago, so maybe I'll have to play through it and see if my opinion still stands. Anyways, that's Tom and Jerry. I don't really like it, but I'll give it a try and just beat it just to beat it. You know what I mean? Kind of like how I did with Rise of the Robots. I hated that game, but I ended up loving it because it was just so misunderstood. Alright. Goonies. We didn't get this one here in the States on cartridge, but we did get it in the arcade. But the Famicom port is here. In my opinion, this was the best Goonies game for the time. I did not like Goonies 2 because it just required too much map writing, and I don't like games where you have to write everywhere you have to go and shit. And this isn't as bad. You can kind of remember where you're going, and what you gotta do is lay down bombs and free your Goonie friends from the door, from these doors with the and get keys too, of course. And this is actually a tune from the movie. It's from Cyndi Lauper called, what's it called? Not Enough. See? I freed a fellow Goonie. So, I gotta get more bombs. But you see what I'm getting at. This game was also on MSX, and that port's really good. They used a different approach. It didn't have the jerky scroll that MSX games are known for. But I suggest giving that a play. I like it. It's fun. I didn't like the second game, which, Jesus Christ, here we go. I hate this game. I never liked it, and I don't think that's ever going to change. It's like Legacy of the Wizard. I love Legacy of the Wizard's music and premise. I don't like the game because the fucking game is too vast. You have to make a map for that game, or follow a playthrough to beat it. And this game's no different. You think it's just a simple game where you just run around and, collect shit and beat stuff up, rudimentary stuff, but then you get to this shit. I hate NES games with a first-person perspective. It just makes my head hurt. This is like Dr. Chaos if you ever played that on the NES. I don't know. I'm not a fan of this kind of shit. You might be. I hit the keys, that did nothing. Let's take them. Okay, so it's just like Dr. fucking Cat. Fuck this game. Don't like it. It's too vast, too much map writing, too much memorization, too much need of a play with a play guide, unless you have a brain like a steel trap that can pick up on anything within a finger snap, which I'm not about. Anyways, moving on. Now, I don't know why this is called Ease Tank. This is basically forgot that fucking tank game. Battle City that was made for the NES or Famicom, I'm sorry. And basically your objective is to protect your little base down here, that little eagle symbol, and you have to destroy tanks, and then you have to get to their base and take it over to beat the level. And unfortunately this game has no definite end. It doesn't have a definite end, it just repeats after you get to levels 50 or something like that. So, I don't know, if you like games that don't have an actual end, you may enjoy Battle City. I don't. And they're on a lot of multi-carts, and this game obviously is no exception. Now, this is based off an arcade game made by Nintendo, and they ported it onto the NES, and pretty much it's arcade perfect. Now, with Popeye, you can't punch Bruno without your spinach. You grab spinach, see, then he goes away. But the problem is at least the Atari version, that was the version I first played, believe it or not, the spinach doesn't come back. So you have to avoid Pluto while collecting Olive Oil's hearts. And basically, if you see that thing on the upper left-hand corner, the house-looking thing, you can punch his bottles, but, yeah, you gotta collect Olive Oil's hearts, and when you fill it up, the stage is over, and then you go to something else. It's pretty fun, but it's arcadey, you know, kind of like Donkey Kong and Donkey Kong Jr., Donkey Kong Math. Actually, let's never speak of Math again. That game is bloody awful. And I got fucked by Bluto. Come here, olive oil. I'm gonna give you some of my olive oil. Pretty fun game. It's arcadey if you like that sort of thing. So there you go. I like it. And of course, Balloon Fight. I just want to take a moment to say rest in peace, Satoru Iwata, and thank you for bringing us such a classic and fun joust clone. Because that's what this is. And it's funny too, because the NES got a port of Joust after a while. But this version has more of a has more personality to it than the game we just mentioned a minute ago, Joust. You just beat the guys and the level's complete, and repeat infinitum. And of course you get your ass kicked. Yeah, so Satoru Iwata brought us that masterpiece, and well, it's not a masterpiece, but it's a damn fun game, and he deserves credit there, but he's no longer with us, unfortunately. Ice Climbers. I'm not a fan of this either, I'll be honest. And the reason for it is the jump mechanic is off. Like, you have to be, like, spot on to get up these... Like, it's hard to put words. But see, the jumping is just off, and it pisses me off. Hitting enemies with a hammer is funny, though. Once again, it's arcadey. Just make your way up, and you go to the boner area, or bonus area, and then try to get the eggplant. And then you get a boner. Or bonus. We used to call bonuses boners as kids. We thought it was funny as fuck. So, technically the level is over, but here you collect the eggplants and you get boners. I never could do this because I hate the jumping in this game. It's so broken. See what I mean? It's off. I mean, I could get used to it after a few plays, but a game that doesn't even end. I hate games that don't end. As a kid, I loved them because they were just, you know, distractions. Come here, you piece of shit. Yay, I got a boner. He's all happy with his white flag. So what? Wait, a white flag? Is he surrendering? You might as well just jump off the mountain and land head first thing, you stupid fuck. Anyways, that's Ice Climbers. Loved by many, meh by some, and I'm one of those. I didn't care for it. I mean, I could see where it would be fun. Now, this game is fun. Wrecking Crew. You can design your own levels, and you play as Mario. And it's kind of like a puzzle game. It doesn't end, though. That's the only drawback. But it's still a fun-ass game. I used to play this for hours when I first bought the game for 99 cents at Funkoland. And I like this toe-tapping theme, too. Oh, I fucked up. If you fuck up, you press select. And you go back to the title screen. Yeah, it's Wrecking Crew. So it's fun for a while, and then it resets back to phase 1. You don't get an ending, so there's really no reason to play it unless you just want to kill some time or you're one of those score whores. Speaking of Donkey Kong, you have all 3 of them on here. With Mario's squeaky shoes. I don't understand why they put that sound effect in this game. It's annoying. I mean, what is that supposed to be? Is his shoes squeaky or his boots squeaky because they're wet? I'm working on plumbing. Oh wait, this isn't Mario. This is Jumpman. Pretentious cunt. once. Anyways. So this is pretty much the premise of Donkey Kong. If you're an old school gamer like me, you know what Donkey Kong is, and you probably played every form. I suggest the Game Boy one, because that game is huge. It's basically this type of gameplay with some extra shit thrown in, like items and abilities, like a backflip. It's really fun. I would suggest any old school gamer of Donkey Kong to give that one a play. I bought that at Game Crazy for $2. Yes, and there's only 3 stages. There's not 4. I believe there was 4 in the arcade. I could be wrong on that. It's been a while since I played the arcade version. Yeah, let's see if I can just beat this once before it repeats. It's only 3 levels long, guys. Very short. But this was big back then. I mean, this game is considered arcade perfect for the most part. I mean, it plays and sounds just like the arcade. The only thing that's missing is the how far can you get graphic. Okay, these guys are starting to piss me off. Oh yeah, that can't even get across anyways. Ha-ha. Oh, wait, nah, ha-ha. Hold on. Got it. Come here, Pauline. I'm gonna give you some of this Italian sausage right in your pooper. And then I'm gonna shove it in your mouth. That's what you call a spicy, delicious chili sausage. Okay, Donkey Kong 2, I believe, is Donkey Kong Jr. Believe it or not. Ah, fuck. Right, hold on. There we go. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, Donkey Kong Jr. The first time I played this game was on the Atari 2600, and that was a shitty port. It was made by Coleco, just like the first game was. So you can probably understand how, you know, you went from that to this. Like back then, just how awesome it was. I mean, when you're a kid, you're a graphic whore. There's no escaping it. You're like, oh my god, my games look so great. They're beautiful. You know, my brother and I always got in fights on what was better, the Super Nintendo or the Genesis. I mean, I'm always going to favor the Super Nintendo for nostalgia reasons, but I still love the Genesis. I was stuck. I couldn't move. Anyways, that's Donkey Kong Jr. If you're familiar with Nintendo's history, you know what that game is. Now I'm going to try to show you the Black Sheep. Which isn't fair, because I really love 3. 3's my favorite. I'm dead serious. You basically bug spray up Donkey Kong's ass. I mean, I don't know why they put Donkey Kong in this game, though. I mean, you get the super spray. You're supposed to use it against Donkey Schlong. But that's it. You spray him and you protect your plants and repeat for infinity, forevermore. It's my favorite Donkey Kong, though. I used to play that for hours back on my cousin's console. Ah, Dig Dug. Now this is where we're getting to some familiar territory. This is a classic. Should have been released in America, but it wasn't. It was released in fucking Japan. Why? The Atari 7800 and the 2600 got a port, but not the NES. Basically, you just pump up enemies and explode them, and the more dirt you dig, the more your points go up, and the more enemies you kill, the more the score you get. It's another score arcade game, and this was an arcade game. And you want to make sure you get the last enemy because he starts going away, retreating, and basically you repeat from infinity. Now the Atari version was the one I was exposed to, and the funny thing about the Atari version, let's see if I get one. Yeah! Is when you do hit an enemy with the rock, which is a square in that version, it makes a nice flat schwint sound. Yeah, this game was also released on the Virtual Console in America, so at least I think so. Correct me if I'm wrong. And that's Dig Dug. Arcadey, fun, classic Namco game. It's really fun, well worth your time if you enjoy high-score-based games. And you don't care to actually complete a game. Alright, we're almost done here. Dig Dug 2 is a bit of a different beast. Some people love it, some people hate it. This game does not end because I actually went through all the rounds in this game. That's the only highlight of the game, is seeing the enemies die. Or you can kill them the old-fashioned way. And that's Dig Dug 2. I don't believe this was released in the arcade. Let me know if I'm wrong. Bye, bitch. Hasta luego. Fuck off. Oh shit, wrong one. Damn it. Yeah, well. That's Dig Dug 2. Wasn't loved by many. I thought it was fun. Excitebike. Does this game really need to be introduced? Okay, Selection A is you fight against the clock. Selection B is you fight against the clock and other racers. And you can crash them out, which is the best part. And you can make your own tracks, too. It's part of the programmable series. Fuck you! So you can be a dick, which is nice. Because games where you can be a dick is kind of fun. Come here, bitch. Oh, damn it. Fuck you! Enjoy that broken neck, asshole! Ah, shit, that's glorious. Come here, motherfucker. Oh, damn it. Ah! No! You're supposed to... You know what? I want to take up my frustrations. No! Damn it! But yeah, you fight against a clock, and you want to make sure you beat the clock. If you don't beat the clock, you pretty much lose. Where you cockhead? No! Fuck you, cockhead! I don't think this game has an official ending, but it's still fun to play. It's also unlockable in Excitebike 64. I beat the clock, so I think I'm in second place, maybe third. Yay! And basically you repeat that forever, ever more. Fun game, though. It's fun for a distraction for a little bit. Okay, Macross. This is a very strange game. In my Namco, obviously. So this bitch hits the gong and it tells you the level and your score. Or you're okay, just your score. Macross, as you know, is part of the Gundam series, is it? Or Robotech? One of those. See, a lot of people think I'm just some big anime guy. I'm not. I don't really care for anime. I hate anime, especially modern day, because it's because of them all the weeaboos exist. And I think weeaboos are cancer as much as the rest of those loving kind of groups. That's why I don't really talk to them or befriend them. I mean, I have befriended a couple furries in my life. They're okay. I don't really agree with them, but they're okay. Their ideology is more understandable than weeaboos that are just jock everything Japanese, but they don't realize how hard it is to live in Japan. Japan's not just all bell whistles and ponies and hot girls. Girls are socially awkward over there. It's unbelievable. Good luck getting a girl over there. I mean, some say it's easy, some say it's hard. I don't know. I've never been over there. I just know from what I've read and experienced through other people. I had a friend go to Akihabara. He says it was awesome for like a day, and then the next day it was bad. You know. Anyways, this game is kind of meh. I don't care for it. So it looks like just a throw-in title. Here's a shitty Famicom game. Let's throw it in there. Adventures of Dino Riki. This is a hard-ass game. Think Adventure Island. Overhead and platforming overhead. I mean, you can see it, obviously. But that's what this game is. And you can get weapon power-ups with fists, with the fist icons. They give you a hammer, just like fucking Master Higgins. And the strongest one is fire, and that one has its turbo abilities. And this game's okay. I mean, it's challenging as hell. It's basically, I would call it a prehistoric version of Elemental Mastery. If you ever played that in the Genesis, one of my favorite games, as I stated 20 billion times. But that's pretty much what this is. It's okay. It's difficult though. So if you like a challenge, load it up. And it's the American version too. But I don't think there's any text. I've never beaten it because it's difficult. Here we go. Puyon, another classic arcade game. You basically want to make sure these fuckers die by shooting their balloons. And it gets awfully challenging, awfully quick. But it's fun watching them die. Just watching them fall there to death. That's probably why that game wasn't released on an American console. But yeah, that's Puyon. It's fun. You wanted just a diversion. Okay. Spartax, you should know what this game is. God damn it. I hate when I have this. Okay. Spartax, you should know what this game is. If not, let the sound effects help you out with that. It's Kung Fu. And you know they released a sequel in Japan, Spartax 2, which has a story and everything. That's also been translated in English, and it's absolutely easy. I might do a Let's Play on that soon, because, you know, it's easy. I need to, after the last debacle I went through, I kind of need to play a couple easy ones here, just to not get frustrated. I love Kung Fu. It doesn't have a definite end, though. It just keeps repeating. It just gives you a sense of an ending, and then repeats the game. You basically go with your girl, Sylvia, or whatever her name is, and you hear bootleg Ganon laugh. Here, I'll play through the stage and we'll call it a day with this. This was called Kung Fu Master on the arcade. It was made by IREM. I actually prefer this version over the arcade. The arcade looks slightly better, but it has horrible collision detection. This game, they kind of fixed it up a bit. They also made an original game with the same name on Game Boy, which I suggest you guys check out. It's a little on the easy side, but a lot of fun. Yeah, so the boomerang guy, all you gotta do is kick him in the head and then punch him in the nuts, and then he's pretty much a done deal. Okay, now you get to see the cutscene I was talking about, and then we'll go to the next game. I mean, if she's right there, just walk up to her, cut her loose, and take her home and bang the fuck out of her. I'm talking smash it 20-fold, Kamehameha her cunt, you know what I mean? Thou Must Smasheth the Pinoche. Now, this game is loved and hated by a lot of people. Mostly hated, for one reason, and I will show you that right away. This is Spelunker by Boardable. What makes this game a piece of shit to some people? This. That's right, you drop about a ½ inch, or a couple centimeters, and you're done. But this game is also loved by mostly Japanese people because it has a unique charm about it, but they need to get rid of that fucking mechanic. See? I'm using my favorite controller again. But yeah. It's, I've never beaten this game, but there's some playthroughs or some Let's Plays on YouTube that show this game beaten. Ghosts appear, and you have to use kind of like a gun. God damn it, a gun thing. Now here's something funny. Game over screen, right? You can pause it. What in good God's name does a game over screen need a pause function? No comment. That's Spelunker, though. You may like it. I suggest giving it a try. You may like it, or you may hate it. The only way to find out is to try it. That goes for everything else, I would assume, huh? Okay, I think we're on Galaga. Now, Galaga doesn't need to be shown either, but fuck it, since we're going to show them all. The only games I won't show is Rockman games, because, well, you guys know Mega Man by now. The only thing that makes this game not arcade perfect to me is the sound effects. Because the arcade is like, beep, 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 but this don't have that. It does, but it's not as same as the NES version, or the arcade version. Well, this is pretty much arcade perfect. This and the Atari 7800 versions are excellent ports. I mean, if you love playing an arcade game that is just addictively fun, this is it. I love Galaga. You know, they can take Laxian and shove it up their ass. I love Galaga. I hope that Galaga gets the treatment that Pac-Man got on Steam and in the arcade, the DX versions. Wouldn't that be cool, Galaga DX? I would play the piss out of that like I do with the Pac-Man DX Championship Edition, which I have on Steam, and it's awesome. I got it for like $2, I think, during the Christmas sale. Yeah, this is Galaga. I mean, come on, you gotta play it. It's an arcade blast. It's a fun time waster. If you're just bored and you have nothing to play, or you don't feel like playing anything that involves progression, and you just want to get the high score and mash a button and just do something minimal, this is it. This is a chill game. Unless you're a high score fiend, then you're gonna be in trouble. Yeah, but that's Galaga. Well worth your time. Especially if you like arcade games with scoring. Once again. Salem. Oh, the game with the big ass. I mean, seriously, that dude's ass is just right in your face. Now, there's 3 difficulties, obviously. Snowy Hill's easy, Mount Nasty's expert, and Steep Peak is, well, steep. But what I don't understand is, why is this guy's ass so defined? I mean, this was rare back in their heyday, so... This is actually quite an addictive game, even though this game doesn't have any ending to it either. It just resets. Don't play with an Xbox controller. This is awful. Yeah, playing with this controller is bloody awful. See if I make it to the finish. Nope. I only got a few seconds left. Yeah, I lost. But yeah, that's Salem. pretty fun. It's like Rad Racer and Mach Rider, just, you know, and here's all the courses that are on that particular course, all the different courses within the main course, Steep Peak. So you got, you know, you got very variety. It's a very fun game. Just don't play with an Xbox controller with a D-pad because it fucking blows. I need to fix that problem if I'm going to do a Let's Play, because I've had it with this controller with retro games. It just does not work. I could probably score up another PS2 controller with my adapter. I'd rather use that. But yeah, Salem is a great game. A lot of fun. Okay, we're near done here. Now this is the better Tetris game. That's right, better. It's 2-player, it's got different modes, you can verse the computer if you don't have a friend to verse against, and you can pick different kinds of music. It's more, I don't know, I kind of like the Nintendo-made version of the music, so let's just go with silence. But yeah, it's fucking Tetris. I mean, how many of you out there have never played Tetris? And if you haven't, you need to give it a try. It's one of the most addictive puzzle games out there. Of course, the silence may drive you nuts because some people just have a fear of silence. I don't mind silence once in a while. It allows you to relax and just enjoy the game without hearing some, you know, obnoxious, craptacular music. I mean, it's Tetris. You can thank the ye old Russians for giving us this fun and exhilarating puzzle game. This is a good time waster too. If you just want to waste time, this is it. This is the way to go about it. Ah, fuck. You basically just line up a line or a row, and the more rows you get in one, the better. You get 4 in a row, and that's considered a Tetris. That's a double. Here's another double. It's Tetris. I mean, do I really have to speak up on it? Anyways, moving on. It's the better version of Tetris, though. Now, I don't know if I'm going to be able to play this one, because it's Chinese chess, and I've never played Chinese chess in my life. Or chessé. Yeah, fuck this, I'm not gonna even try it. Avoid. At least my opinion. Legend of Kage. Arcade port. Loved by some, hated by many. And I can see why. I think this is another Micronix port, but I could be wrong on that. Just jump through trees, kill ninjas to save the princess, and then the game repeats. This is one of the first games I actually seen when I got our Nintendo. Because see, there's this place called Universal Mall in DeQuinder, if any of you live in the Detroit area. I got my Nintendo at a KB Toy Works, and I went to Woolworths to see what games they had, and unfortunately they costed too much, and so I had to stick with Mario Brothers for 6 months or so, which was not, you know, we got bored of that game awfully quick because we beat it awfully quick. That was a game you just learned, and it was easy to master after about a month. But then we found out about renting. Then my parents learned about how you can rent games, and my first game I rented was Mega Man. Yeah, in Commando. I love them both. Okay. Solomon's Key. This is, I don't know why it's called Solomon's Key. Solomon's Japanese version. Fuck off. Anyways, at least you get the uncensored content, like you saw the Star of David, or the Jew Star, I call it. Yeah, call me racist, I don't care. And the title screen. Basically, this game is cool. You just find your way to get a key, and your own platforms. There's actually a sequel called Fire and Ice, but it's not Solomon, it's somebody else. And that's it. There's later in the game though. There's secret areas you have to find in order to see the true ending of the game. It's real difficult, but awesome puzzle game. It's well worth your time if you love puzzle games. Definitely. Sky Destroyer. This is a made by Taito. It tries this first person mode, this like afterburner mode, and the game is okay, but it's nothing you'd play more than 5 minutes without wanting to play something else. You just fly around like a dumb shit and just hold the button down. I mean, I'd rather play the NES port of Afterburner, to be honest with you. Or maybe even Top Gun. I don't know, that's a bit of a stretch. Top Gun sucks ass. You crash? Good, fuck this game. I mean, if it's something you think you'd enjoy, go ahead and pop it in. Oops. Okay. Gai Air Kung Fu. This is based off an arcade game of the same name. This version, unfortunately, to me, anyways, is not as polished, but it's playable. Like in the arcade game, you're outside. Why are you inside some dojo or shrine? And this game also has a weird attack system where you gotta. This version, anyways, you have to press the B button while pressing a direction. And it just, I don't know, it doesn't work for me. There's ways you can repel their attack with their weapon, but it takes a lot of patience and luck, which I don't have either, so I'm just gonna skip that. I mean, if it's something you like in the arcade, or you like the look of the game, give it a try. You may like it, you may not. Now here comes one of the most overrated franchises ever. Bomberman, especially this game. This game is fucking boring. A lot of people like it. It's slow, it's sluggish, and it just... I just want to go to sleep when I play this game. It's so boring. I mean, I'm not... Thanks, CC Cleaner. I don't need you telling me there's an update. I'll get it when I feel like it. Thank you. Basically, your objective is to kill the enemies and find the key in one of these boxes, which will take you for fucking ever. I mean, the later Bomberman games were obviously better. You had multiplayer options, and it was a lot of fun, but this is fucking boring. Yeah, I've had enough. That's Bomberman. Oops, hard reset instead. That doesn't matter. Anyways, yeah, that game, and I just don't like. I think it's fucking boring. Okay, Micronics. I know they made this port because I watched a video in the past that explained it. Oh, that sound. I love the arcade port of this. I don't care much for this port. You can just tell it's made by Micronics. Look how slow and shitty it is. And the tune's not nearly as catchy. I forgot how to play this game. Don't judge me. Life is too short. I regret nothing! He's fucking the sky and then he disappears. Fantastic. Something to do with like a red door. Yeah, okay. Okay, well, this version's crap. Play the arcade. Taito Legends, I think, has it. But some people may have had a good experience with it. I haven't. Okay, now these games, I'm gonna need the zapper working if I can. Let's see, I just gotta remember how to do it. Let's see, Zapper, where the fuck are you? Okay, you have the power pad and the power glove, but you don't have the zapper. That's bloody nice. I'm using this Toki, by the way. I'm just seeing if there's a... oh, wait, here we go. External. No, that's for other things. Input. Port 1. There we go. Okay. Let me go into the game and then I'll switch it and see if it works. Because these next 3 games are zappers. Zapper games. Let's see. Support 2. No, we don't want zapper. There we go. Yep. These are zapper games. Some of the best of the best. Wild Gunman, Duck Hunt, and Hogan's Alley. I'm using a mouse because, you know, emulation. Basically, you want to be as quick as possible. Pretty simple stuff. There's different modes, just like Duck Hunt. Fucker. 3 misses and it's game over. Let's go ahead and play the next one. There's different modes and such. I mean, if you have a zapper, you know, you got plenty to play with here. Of course, Duck Hunt. Always want to shoot that goddamn dog. I like the clay shooting better than the actual ducks, to be honest. Call me old. Hey, at least the mouse works, unlike the zapper itself, which breaks over time. Mine still works when it wants to. Has its moments, though. It's like my microphone. It's very finicky. Ha! Fuck you. Yep, so that's Duck Hunt. You can also shoot ducks if you care to. That's classic. Well worth your time. And the last game on the list before we can call the video. So you can pick a gang where you fight a gang of people, or 1 outlaw or 2 outlaws. Let's give the 2 outlaws a try. This would be better on the actual zapper, because you just go pow pow, and not just and this was also featured in the whatchamacallit, Act of the Future 2, where the kids are like, you gotta use your hand, that's a baby's toy. But that is the Super 151. Exit out of this. Transform this up so you can see my beautiful, ugly face. Anyways, let's grab it. Okay, so what do I think of the Super 151? For the price asking for it, which is anywhere from $15 to $20, this is damn well worth the money. However, my main gripe with it is most of the games are in Japanese. Granted, if you don't care about plots, you don't care about stories, and you don't really give it 2 licks of a shit on the progression of its plot or story, and you just want to play the fucking game, then that won't bother to you. But if you want to follow the plot and understand what's going on in the story, some of these games may not be for you. But, in all honesty, there's a lot in here. And a lot of it's great. Good stuff. Playable stuff. Absolutely wonderful. I mean, you get all 3 Ninja Gaiden titles. You get all 3 Double Dragon games, even though the second game's in Japanese, which is a bunch of horse shit. but I've beaten the American game, so, and I own the American cartridge, so it doesn't bother me. Or, you know, you can play it on an emulator. It doesn't, you know, there's other options. But if you want to play games on the actual hardware with no problems or anything of that nature, I really think you should go out and get this. I mean, I got the gray cartridge, as you can see. I mean, whatever. You get all 5 Mega Man games. Now, Mega Man doesn't use much text either. I mean, not enough to make the game... It's not important. Because most of the endings are done in like a cutscene-like style. So, you're not missing much in terms of the whole English thing. But you get 7 Rockman games. You get 3 Ninja Gaiden titles, 3 Double Dragon titles, 2 Castlevania titles. You get the 1942 and 1943 for the NES. They're there. They're fully playable form. I mean, there is a lot to like here. There's Panic Restaurant, Bucky O'Hare, Monster in My Pocket. I mean, there's so many classics on this cartridge that I can't stress enough on how awesome this cartridge really is. So, I think it's well worth your money. There's a lot there, and it's fun. I mean, it even works on clones. Like I said, I got a Yobo and a Retron 1. It works on both flawlessly. It has the sound issues that most clones have. It also has the issue of the color problem that most NES on a chip emulators have, except for the more expensive ones. But if you can look past that, they work on there. And if you have a regular NES that works but needs, you know, cleaning, which mine needs to get clean, and I need to bend the pins back. I hate the fucking NES sometimes, but yeah, it's well worth the money. I mean, considering what's on this cart compared to what they cost in the market in the wild, even for a loose cart, I mean, it's $15. Yeah, it may not be considered legal. It's a gray area, like I explained before. But at the same time, you are getting a hell of a deal, and you can just play the fucking games and enjoy them on the original hardware that's originally intended. And some of the games are Famicom games too. And there's a couple bootlegs too, just for, you know, shits and giggles. I kind of hope this cart does get revised though, and put just nothing but American versions of said games on there if they're available. I mean, I don't know why they put Japanese versions on there. There's no... I don't know. I sincerely have no idea. But it's well worth your money. And I did, on my first part of this, I posted a link of where you can buy this game for the $15 I mentioned. Also, if you want to support me on Patreon, it's also, the link is on the first video as well. And if you want to support me, great. If not, that's okay too. I mean, you don't have to. I appreciate the help, obviously, but, you know. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and call this a video. I hope you enjoyed it for as much as it was. I know there's a lot of talking and rambling and this and that, but, I mean, that's kind of what I do here. I mean, I'm not, you know, I'm not a guy that just has all these abilities to make editing and cool little effects and shit. You know, I don't believe that's what it's about anyways. It's about the games. And you don't need to be showing games with shiny and brightening and bullshit. You just need to show off the game, talk about it, or talk about something while you're playing the game to entice the audience. That's what I try to do. And sometimes I know it's hard, but I do try. So give me a little, just give me a little, well, you don't have to, just give me a little respect, if any at all. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this little journey with me. Buy this. I think you'll have a great time. And until next time, everybody, till the next one, y'all take good care of yourselves. Thank you for watching this video series I made. And hopefully, I do have another multi-cart for the Genesis that I could probably do in the future. However, I got what's called the bad one. But I can probably do that in the future. Still, anyways. I can find the good one and go through it there, and we'll figure it out. You know, I'm indecisive as all hell. You can probably tell. But anyways, I hope you all have a great night. Take good care of yourselves. Thank you for watching my channel. Thank you for watching my videos. And I love and care for all of you. And I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your evening and the rest of your week. We'll see you on the next one. Take care.